Hi everyone, this is Mike, and I'm doing this as a contest entry for David Koenig, Fiend on Film, and his celebrating his 50 subscribers. And congratulations, David! And I'm sure that you will have way over 100 before you know it. So anyway, you should, you deserve it. So you asked 3 questions and said we could choose all 3 or just one. And I think I'm going to concentrate on the second question. But to answer the first one, very briefly, did our parents ever forbid us to see any film or bring a film home, anything like that? And I have to say that I was very lucky in that regard. My parents never told me that I could never go see any movie, or they never restricted any of the books I could read or the music I could listen to. And so I don't know if it was because they were particularly open-minded people or they just didn't give it any thought whatsoever. Maybe they didn't think it was that important. But I do remember that we used to go to the drive-in a lot as a family, and I can remember going to see some very adult films for the time. For example, in 1959 we all went to see an Otto Preminger film called Anatomy of a Murder, starring James Stewart and Lee Remick. And of course back then there was no bad language, there was no graphic sex, nobody was taking their clothes off, but still it was a very suggestive and very adult film for its time. And we were sitting there in the back seat. I don't think that they ever thought that there was any kind of a problem. So that's my kind of non-answer to that question. So on the second question, did we ever have a movie that we would sneak in and see? And I'm going to take a tip from the 13th Wolfman, who said that he never did that, because I didn't either. But he talked about a movie that he stayed to see a second time. And I can remember twice that happened to me. And the first time was back in 1968. And I went with my girlfriend at the time to see Rosemary's Baby. And we were so affected by that movie that when it was over, we didn't move. We just sat there staring straight ahead, not saying a word to each other, and didn't even turn and look at each other like, do you want to go? We just kept sitting there, and eventually the movie started again, and we watched it all the way through. And it was probably just as effective the second time as it was the first. And it happened again in 1969. I went with the same girlfriend. We went to see Easy Rider. And the very same thing happened. The movie was over. We sat there staring straight ahead, completely mesmerized or something. And we watched it all the way through again. So, yeah. And I don't think I ever did that again. I don't know. Of course, back in those days, they didn't chase people out, at least in the theaters that I went to. I guess now you can't do it, or they come and they ask you to leave or pay again. I really don't know. But I do know a lot of people in the multiplexes, they will sneak around and go to other theaters, and they will just kind of see if they can go in after one movie finishes. They'll go in and watch another one. A lot of people get away with that in this day and age. Okay, so I guess that's my entry. Favorite candy? Oh wow. Anything chocolate. I think my favorite candy is probably Snow Caps. I don't know why, but that's just the way it is. Okay, that's my entry. Comments are welcome. See you later.